Thank you very much for introduction. Now I would like to continue with my presentation, which is focused on geomarketing. And this presentation should serve as an introduction, as it's mentioned on the title slide. So I would like to start with short explanation what geomarketing is, what data are used, what it's produced during geomarketing analysis, and how it can be used for practical purposes. So first of all, talking about geomarketing, you can meet a lot of terms that are connected with this issue. In some documents, some books, some papers, you can read that it's spatial marketing, sometimes marketing geography, sometimes location-based marketing. But what is common for all of these terms is use of geographical analysis and especially use of different geospatial technologies like geographical information system, GPS, and especially maps. All these technological things can be applied in any aspect of marketing mix. What geomarketing can serve, especially answers to these questions. All of these questions that are mentioned here are somehow related with spatial aspects. So what it's involved are spatial words like located, areas, and especially where or what distance. So anything which is related with location, with distance, can be somehow related with economy. A key part of geomarketing are geospatial technologies, especially geographical information systems, which are based on different layers, which are overlaying. You can see this principle on this picture, on this slide. So this is the main or key part of all maps and all geospatial analysis. Additionally, what is also very important are spatial data. Without data, geomarketing or GIS cannot work. Without data, you wouldn't be able to do any analysis. So what data are used in geomarketing? First of all, it's background data or reference data, mostly topographic maps that helps us to orient in the space. Second point or second data set are address points. So for geomarketing purposes, we need to know where are our customers. We need to know where people live. So this is the very crucial part. And then we have a huge set of data, like statistical data, that helps us to know what our customers are. This was mentioned in a previous presentation by Nico. During his presentation, he mentioned a lot of stuff related to this issue. Another thing is how people behave, how people move. So we need to know not only where people live, but also how they travel, how often and where they travel, where they work. So all of these information are very crucial for geomarketing purposes. We can work with official data, with statistical data, but nowadays we can also work with modern data sources like social networks or mobility data. First data set, as I mentioned, are address points. All of these points can be used for different purposes. On this example, on this slide, you can see pretty simple spatial analysis. If you will overlay polygon, which is marked by red color, if you will overlay this polygon with address points, you can obtain number of addresses you have to serve, number of addresses where you need to go, where are your customers. So this is the first point. Additionally, these address points can be linked with a lot of spatial data, a lot of statistical data. It depends what level of aggregation you will choose. At the beginning, mostly we have points. Like during censuses, which are doing in many countries, in the Czech Republic currently, we have our census. So all of the data are collected as points, but later they are produced or aggregated into different polygons. Most common approach is the last one, administrative units, like municipalities, regions. But for geomarketing purposes, we need much more detailed data, like aggregation into squares, into hexagons, in smaller regions. Now we can work also with some not traditional data sets like big data. These data are very useful for customer spatial behavior identification. We can use data from social network to identify where people tweets, where people lives, where people works, and we can also work with mobile phone data. I prepared one short example how these data can be used. This is my example. My personal data from Google location, which I downloaded from Google. I allow that Google can collect data about my spatial behavior, and if you know how, you can visualize these data. On the left side of this slide, pointed by A, B, C, D, you can see different level of my mobility across the Europe, across the Czech Republic, across Olomouc city, and in details very close to my house. So this information can be also aggregated into hexagons, what you can see on the right side, and you can identify where I am moving during different parts of my life, during different months, weeks, days, nights, and you can identify it not only for me as a one person, but if you know this information about more people, like here, person ABC, you can aggregate it and relate it with information about shopping place, about working place, about my leisure time. And if you would know this information about big part of Czech Republic or any country, you will be able to identify where people in general moves and lives. Actually, this principle is used now for dealing or facing with COVID pandemic to identify how people are traveling. Another information what we can derive from that is this example. If we would know this information about mobility from hundreds of people, we can model it and visualize it like you can see on this slide. And according to that, businessmen can decide where it makes sense to put new shopping mall, where to put new bus stop, and this information are very, very valuable. What is a key part of geomarketing is not only the software, not only the data, but also analysis, spatial analysis of the data. There are a lot of analysis that you can do. On this slide, I pointed out only a few of these spatial analysis that we can do in GIS software. I will just briefly talk about few of them. First type of analysis is a segmentation or geotargeting. Actually, this is pretty close to information that Nikolai Moss mentioned. I mean, combination of demographic data. If you would know what people lives in different parts of the city, you can identify how much people earns, how old people are, and if you would combine this information together, you can define your customers, because different customers buy cars, different customers buy bikes, and so on. A big part of geomarketing analysis is based on location and allocation analysis, which is strongly connected with network data, networks, how people move. We can define two main parts of location and allocation analysis, which are related with service areas. First result of this analysis can be defined as service area analysis. It depends on type of analysis, on type of product that we want to sell. But for each product, we can define service areas. Different service area will be for cars, for bakery, for grocery, for pharmacy, and we can model it by different ways. The first or the most common principle are buffers, simple circles around our point, and according to these circles, we can define where our customers live. Much more advanced principle are service areas, which can be done by networks, by network analysis. It depends what type of analysis you want to do. On the left side, you can see comparison between simple circle, simple buffer, and service area produced by network analysis. What is blue is the difference. We can also say that what is blue is wrong, it's incorrect, because within distance of, let's say, 500 meters, the blue part is not accessible in the reality, but by modeling by buffers, it would be accessible, which is incorrect. We can combine this principle for more points. So on the right side, you can see example with 5 points, let's say shopping malls. And for each shopping mall, you can define what is the service area and what customers are probably visiting these shopping malls. It also depends what approach you want to use. If we walk, probably to use distance is okay. But if you want to travel by public transportation or by car, distance is not so important, because much more important is time. How much time it takes you to get to the shopping mall by car or by public transportation. If we will model this situation, so after modeling of service areas, this is the first step, we can allocate our customers. Blue points that you can see represents address points, so buildings, places where people live, and by modeling we can define what people belongs to this service area. There exists much more complex geomarketing analysis because location analysis can be combined together, and we can define we can not only allocate our customers, we can also model impedance, coverage, overlaying facilities, competition between different shops, and so on. This is shown on this slide. On the left side, you can see what is the starting point. Yellow colors represents address points again, and brown points represents shops. On the right side, you can see these brown linkage between points, which represents connections. It means what people are traveling where, what shopping mall is attracting which people. And according to that, you can define, okay, this is the place where there is a big competition between two shops. Here is empty space where we can add new one shopping mall. Last few slides. What I want to explain or show you is a big analysis what we did for regional authority, Olomouc authority, for urban planning office. We calculated for them accessibility, let's say allocation analysis for more than 30 services like doctors, schools, bus stop, which is not so much related to geomarketing, but we also modeled allocation for shops, for pharmacies, and different types of services which are related to marketing. We had address points for whole this region. It was really a lot of points, so analysis took a long time. We had a road network, we had a public transportation network, we worked with public transportation timetables, and what was the result? We were able to create these service areas for cars, for public transportation, and for walking. Simply, what is green is okay. These areas are accessible within some limit, which is okay, and what is orange or red or yellow is not so much accessible. I will go into details. This is Olomouc city. On the left side, you can see example how accessible is pharmacy. Simply said, what is green, it's okay. It's accessible by car within 50 minutes, which is pretty okay. On the right side, if we will model similar situation by walking, what you can see in green is okay, and what same situation is visible here, but what you can see in yellow or orange or red is not accessible within setup limit. It means that if I will look on this map as a businessman and I want to create new pharmacy shop in the Olomouc, I can define where are probably the best places where people lives and where is no pharmacy store in this location. Similarly, we did this analysis for shops and for different categories. So what to say at the end? Probably the most crucial thing is that geomarketing, or in general marketing, can benefit from space, from geographical analysis, from GIS and from maps. I would say that this field is not researched a lot. We are still at the beginning because new data are existing, new data are approaching, so it's a lot of work ahead of us in the future. Thank you for your attention.